award-winning singer, started this organization 19 years ago with his mom, Miss Patton. And what she did at that time is she took her two sons to Judge Hatchett's courtroom and allowed them to see juvenile court. And what they saw was young people who had found themselves in circumstances, not always on their own volition, but because of the circumstances that they were in. And they decided when they left that courtroom is that he wanted to do something about it, and he created an organization called Usher's New Look because he wanted to give young people a new look on life. And so almost 20 years now, we have been working to help underserved youth develop into global passion-driven leaders.
And Artie, you've got a question?
Well, I do. It's not so much a question. It's the wonderment. Reviewing our show notes, I went to the website for Usher's New Look.
Yes.
And I learned that 1.3 million students drop out of school each and every year. And that means that they are 4 times less likely to make a living wage, and 75% of the crime committed is by high school dropouts. That's amazing. And what Usher New Look is doing is working with these students. Can you tell us the business model of not the business model, but the services that you do provide to keep them engaged and in school?
Absolutely. So our program, we like to say it's a 10-year continuum. So from the time that a student can enter our program, which is through our Powered by Service program, which is basically an assembly on steroids. We go into middle schools, and it's a peer-to-peer program. So our college students actually facilitate leadership trainings for these young people. That's one phase of the program. And then they can apply to become a part of our Leadership Academy, which is our high school program. So 9th through 12th grade, these young people are immersed in our 4 pillars, which are talent, education, career, and service. We believe it's those 4 pillars that help to develop well-rounded young leaders. And then from there, 86% of our students are first-generation college students, and so we continue on with them because not only do they just get into college, but we help them with internships, career opportunities, and make sure that they're ready to transition into adulthood. And that's called our Mogul and Training Program. So it's 3 phases of this 10-year program that we have for these young people. And with the statistics that you quoted, we serve underserved youth because what we found is that low-income students are 6 times more likely to drop out of high school. So that speaks to the demographic that we serve as well.
Well, the success rate is amazing. Just since you've started, 42,000 applicants or youths have
that
gone
we've
through
impacted worldwide. And actually the number now is a little bit over 50,000. Each year we serve over 3,000 students through one of those 3 phases of our program.
And the graduation rate it's
100% for our high school students.
I was going to say it,
yes.
but I wanted to make sure.
That's correct. It's like really, yes, 100%. And we're not choosing those students who are at the top of the class. We're choosing those students who have that little bit of spark inside of them that they just need to be directed in a positive way.
Well, that is amazing. Are you reaching out to other communities, other cities, or to start their own, or to associate with them in any way? Because this is just a wonderful thing.
Yes. Over the time that we've existed, we've had programs in Detroit, Milwaukee, as well as New York City, where we're currently operating now, and Atlanta. That first phase that I told you about, Powered by Service, we do those all over the world. So most recently we were in Dominican Republic, and we get corporations who say, hey, we would love for you all to do this program here with this particular school, and that's where we are able to go and do that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And your role with the organization is today?
President and CEO, and I started out as a volunteer 6 years later when I left the law firm.
That's the important part of the process. Is you had a vision, you got involved with the program, you found the program that would work, and now how many years?
6 years.
6 years total from volunteer to CEO?
From volunteer to CEO.
Well, you've almost seen some of those 10-year cycles complete. I think you've completed one.
Yeah. Almost. So I'm very, very happy to work with this program.
So talk to us about your business model, your day-to-day operations. We know how you're helping people. How can people help you, or kind of what's your call to action when you reach out to the community?
Absolutely. So we are a 501c3 organization, and we rely heavily on corporate giving as well as individual and foundations. So we like to find corporations that align with our mission, which is helping to educate youth and to putting them to career. And so that's a way that we have been able to raise funds. We have corporations that have allowed our students to intern with them, job shadow. So we use the community as to give our students exposure as well as financial support for the organization.
And what do they look for in return? Is it, do they eventually maybe look at internship opportunities and employment?
Absolutely. So we're creating a pipeline, right? And so they're investing in these young people now, perhaps from high school or from college. And I'll just give you a quick example. We have a young student who will be graduating college. She's been with our program since high school. Graduating college this year from Tuskegee University, Alexis Mitchell. She was introduced to FedEx, which is one of our top sponsors and supporters, introduced through FedEx through a program that they do where we host a professional development for our college students. Applied for an internship, interned with FedEx in Detroit, and just received an offer a month ago. She'll be going to Memphis, one of their headquarters, next summer to start in their sales and marketing department.
Fabulous.
Now, this is a young lady from inner city Atlanta who didn't quite know what she was going to do after graduating high school, and now she has a job at a Fortune 100 company.
Go and eat some barbecue in Memphis. I like that
That's
idea.
right.
Well, and how do they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with Usher's New Look, either email info@ushersnewlook.org or our website, www.ushers, that's USHERS, newlook.org. And on social media, all of our handles are at Usher's New Look.
That's a pretty good moniker to have. So.
Yeah.
And what's next for you?
What's next is that we are gearing up to celebrate our 20th anniversary next June 2019, and we will be hosting our Disruptivator Summit. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I can come back on and promote that.
Hopefully. We love to do events, so we appreciate you being with us this morning. Remember, that's hashtag Giving Tuesday for anything you want to post out. If you're listening to some of this and you've had some experience with Usher's New Look or heard about it or need more information, certainly go to the site. So, Ms. Moore, congratulations, and you look like you've graduated the program to me.
Thank you.
You're
And I
excited.
would like to say that if people want to donate, they can click on that from our website as well. Thank you.
Operators are standing by too, right?
Nice. Yeah.
Appreciate
Do we still
it.
have operators these days? Yeah.
All right. So next we've got with us this morning Bethany Monroe, who is with No Longer Bound, and I understand you are a store manager at the second location, and that's a whole nother story right there. But tell us a little bit about what No Longer Bound. You've been with them for 2 years, and they provide some very interesting services which are of value to our community.
So No Longer Bound is a 12-month regeneration program for men who struggle with addiction. The way our model is unique, other than being 12 months, which isn't very common in rehabilitation, is that we have industries that support us. Our ministry, our nonprofit organization, is 73% self-funded, and that's through mainly our industries and also donations, monetary donations from very generous people. And so the thrift store that I run is a part of that. It's one of the industries, and so our funds go to help those men have lower costs.
Well, that's the model, and of course you mentioned the second one. When did the first thrift store open, for instance?
It opened about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And our store opened 2 years ago
And the first store is located?
in Cumming, Georgia,
Georgia. Second store is located?
Woodstock.
Woodstock. So you've got the northern quadrant. And what about your recruits, your folks who are going through the program? Where do they mostly come from, and how do they get to you?
They come from all over, really. There are men there from Florida, from Chicago, from Georgia. Family basically research. They find what they think is going to be the best fit or solution for their young man, and they can go on our website, nolongerbound.com, or they can call, and they'll just start the process there with the intake facility.
Now, that takes 12 months, as you said. You've got some kind of screening process. You've probably gotten pretty good at this. And talk about some of the instances you've seen in your 2 years of some of your employees, because they actually work in the stores, right?
No, that was our model. We have since changed it, where the men mainly stay on campus, which is located in Cumming. So our business is solely focused on generating funds. So we are employed by people in Woodstock, the store I run, or the Cumming store by people who live in Cumming. And we just try to generate awareness in the community, make it okay to talk about addiction again. We have so many people, customers and donors, who come in that either someone's gone through the program or they know someone in addiction, and they feel safe. They feel like they can open up and talk about their story.
Artie?
Yeah, Bethany, I'm going to back up just a little bit.
Okay.
Because we usually get a little bio, and I don't know that much about you, and our listeners might know. So just very briefly, what got you to be store manager? Fill in the background to that.
Well, honestly, growing up, being a store manager or working in retail wasn't really my dream. I actually went the path of education. I got my master's degree in literature and wanted to teach, but I just found it wasn't a good fit for me. And when I came back home, I found myself working at a thrift store, and I fell in love with it. And when the opportunity to serve at No Longer Bound came up, where not only working at a thrift store, but also helping a nonprofit, raising funds for people who want to be restored to their family, that really touched my heart. And so they were generous enough to hire me, and they have done such a good job of helping me grow as a leader. And I really appreciate that. Their model runs throughout. So not only do they help the men that are in the program, but the people who work there, they really are all about investing in people.
I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I am also the host of the Business Developers Network, which is all about business. And, nonprofits are in business.
Yes.
And you have something rather interesting about the way you go about your thrift store. It's called Excess Matters.
Yes.
And it's a way of everyone donating clothes, furniture, etc., which sounds like the typical thrift store.
Right.
But you have something unique because you give back
Yes.
to the communities and the ministries that would support your stores. Explain that and let our guests know about it.
Yes, so Excess Matters is basically a gift card program where when people come and donate, when they first sign up, a lot of people want tax receipts, but they can also designate a partner, which is most often a church. And so quarterly, we just track those people who are giving and the partners that they want to support. And at the end of each quarter, we send gift cards, mainly to churches that are supporting us. Because so many churches right now, they don't have clothing closets anymore. They have so many people in need in their congregation. And we have been blessed by our donors. And so we want to give back to the community. And we know those churches can designate. They know the people that are in need. So we give them the tools to help them. So they can come, they can shop for clothes. We have furniture, dishware, decor, shoes. They can come and they can get what they need, and they can do it with dignity. I mean, there's no paperwork they sign up for. They just walk in the store with a gift card and they shop.
That's pretty awesome. And in our earlier segment, we were talking about students. So is that part of the student voucher program?
It's separate. So
Okay.
Both in Forsyth County and Cherokee County, where our stores are located, any counselors can go online and sign up for these $50 student vouchers. And again, the students can just come in and shop for what they need, whether that's backpacks or clothing, shoes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so the counselors know what students are in need. And so we let them give that away.
I've found some really good deals at thrift stores. It's really interesting. It's like a treasure trove whenever
Yes.
you go there. It's just like, wow, I haven't seen
Well,
that in years or whatever. Yeah.
Excess really does matter to the pocketbook as well as the look.
So finally, we got about a minute left here. Talk to us about your community involvement and the expansion in that arena, or any other announcements or events and so forth.
Yeah, so next year we are hoping to continue to open more stores. We're in the middle of a capital campaign with No Longer Bound. We're trying to make more housing, more beds, so more men can go through the program. And so we're trying to expand as an industry to continue to support that as well. So we're definitely looking forward to that.
Well, if we can be of help, count us in. And so, Bethany, thanks again for